I'm going to show you how to get started by going in. I'm just going to pick a random classroom, and I'm going to go into EDU 520N. You would pick your own classroom, of course, and you just click the link to go inside the classroom. Once I'm inside the classroom, one of the very first places that I want to go in the very beginning is I want to click the Course Content tab. And once I'm inside Course Content, I want to scroll all the way probably to the bottom, and there should be a folder called Documents from the Instructor. And inside this folder you're going to find some very handy things. If I click on Documents from the Instructor, the very first thing that you see is Welcome to Class. You may have already seen this pop up in your announcements, but if you haven't seen it or you need to refer back to it, all you have to do is click on Welcome to Class, and it will pop up a page where you can see the same welcome announcement that you saw in the beginning announcements. I'm just going to click back. And another thing that you can find inside of here is the classroom policies. If you click on classroom policies, it will pull up a document, and you want to go through this document fairly carefully, because in here you'll find out participation, what counts as participation, what you need to do for participation, how participation is graded. You'll also find out about how to submit assignments, and you'll want to read this paragraph about how to submit assignments. You'll find out about the late policy. Of course, we all have things happen so that we can't submit something on time every now and then. Thankfully, that doesn't happen too often, and so we have a policy. Of course, we'll accept assignments late, but the policy tells you that it will be each day it's late, there will be a small 10% of the available credit per day will be deducted for a maximum of 5 days, and nothing is accepted after 5 days late. Another thing that you see in here is the grading scale, and then you see a little paragraph about TaskStream. You also see a paragraph about Turnitin. You can read what you see here, but there also will be separate videos to show you better how to use TaskStream and how to use Turnitin. You also see a paragraph about the CLC, which is the group work, the teamwork, and there will also be another video about that. There is also some paragraphs about plagiarism, and you need to read that carefully as well. It talks about a grade of incomplete, and normally there are some questions about incomplete grades, and Grand Canyon does not allow us to award a grade of incomplete unless the student is current with all the classwork up until the last week of class, and in the last week of class they have an emergency that keeps them from being able to complete the work. That's the only time when we can do a grade of incomplete. So those are all the things inside of the classroom policies. Also, if we go back to course content, well, go to Documents from the Instructor again, you can see another link here to the course calendar. The course calendar is set up inside of Google Calendars, and it will first go to this website, and you'll need to pick the correct class. I was picking EDU 520, so under EDU 520N I'm going to say View Calendar, and it should just pop up the Google Calendar. It might be possible that you have to register for an account with Google, but if so, the accounts with Google are free and you just have to sign up for it. When you look at it, you can see briefly where the assignments are, but if you click on one of the assignments like here, you see that this is discussion question number 1, which is due in the main classroom. Respond to that question. If you click another one, you just see Cantors, but if you click it, it'll give you more details about what assignment is due on that day. So that's the assignment calendar. You may also need to have contact information. If you go back to course content and the handy toolkit, you'll also want to look through the handy toolkit. There are lots of things in there that will help too, but the first link here is the faculty contact information, and if you click on that, it will pop up a page giving you all of the contact information. It gives you an email address to contact me. However, for most questions, it's probably better to go back to the handy toolkit and to click on this link, Questions for the Instructor. And this is a discussion board where you can post questions for the instructor. It's better to post your questions in here because chances are many of your classmates may have the same questions, and if you post them in here, they can see the answers as well. Now I'm going to go back to course content and go into the documents from the instructor one more time. In here you can also find, I want to point out a couple of folders. There will be a folder for Turnitin instructions, and you can click on that and find more information about what Turnitin is and how to use Turnitin. Inside that folder you'll also find your class enrollment code and the password to set up your Turnitin account for this class. And you can also find a folder about TaskStream, and in there you'll find more information about the TaskStream instructions. The other thing we want to look at is the grading rubrics. If you click on the grading rubrics, you'll be able to find all of the rubrics for all of the assignments for this class. Notice that it says click the classes link to the right, so when I click classes, I'm going to pick the one for the class that I'm pretending I'm in, EDU 520N. When I do this, again, this is done through Google Docs, so you may have to register for a free account at Google Docs, but it should just pop it up anyway. If I look at Module 1, and one of the assignments for EDU 520N is Discipline and Management, if I click on that link, it will pop up a Google Docs Excel spreadsheet, and this is the actual rubric that's used to grade that assignment. You can see what happens is, if you've met all the requirements for that assignment, it'll put a 3 here if you did compare and contrast discipline and management, which gives you a certain number of points. If only most of the requirements for that were met, this would be a 2 instead, and it changes the number of points that you get and changes the total. If you've met all of the requirements, you get all of the points, of course, until you get down to the bottom. And you see the rubric takes into account if the assignment was late, there will be a number of days that was late, and there will be a small deduction for the points there. Also, you notice in the class policies that it tells you you have to submit everything to Turnitin and attach the Turnitin report. If you look in the Turnitin folder, there will be a video to show you how to do that. If you do not do this, there is a 10% deduction for not submitting to Turnitin. So if I were to change this rubric to a 0 for not submitting to Turnitin, you notice that it deducts some points, and now it's only a 2.7 instead of a 3. If I change it back to a 1, then they have no deduction of points for submitting to Turnitin. Another thing that you can find in the documents from the instructor is the module expectations. If you click on the module expectations link, once again, you'll have to click on your class, which I was pretending I'm in EDU 520N. But once you click on your class, you'll be able to see the module expectations for every week. So if I were to click on Module 1 expectations, it gives you a brief overview about what the module is about. It tells you about the assignments that are due. There may be links to click inside these modules. If there are links, you'll probably want to click those links to get more information. Two final things. If you go back to course content, not the documents from the instructor, because this is actually posted by Grand Canyon, you can find the class syllabus here and a link to click on. If you click on it again, it'll just open that syllabus up inside of a page. And also, if you go back to course content, one of the very first things that you need to do is to post your introduction to the Cyber Cafe. The Cyber Cafe is found inside Module 1, and then click on Cyber Cafe. And in this class, people have already posted. It's harder to find when people have already posted, but there should be a message from the instructor, like this one would have been the very first message here, and it says please select reply to post your personal introduction and change the subject line to your name. So don't go up to the top and select new post. Instead, once you've clicked on that message, then down here on the bottom, scroll down and click reply instead. And here you would change the subject line to your name, and then type your personal introduction inside the box, and when you're finished, just click post and it will post it there. Your next step after this video would be to go back to the documents for from the instructor folder and click on anything else there you see that might be helpful,